Hey Hiking Nation, welcome to Aetos Treks. Today we're going to talk about how you as a day hiker can elevate your game to become a backcountry hiker. Stand by. So do you like to hike? You like to get out in nature, but would consider yourself a day hiker in the sense that you park your car at a trailhead, walk a couple miles or so out to a feature, and then come on back, call it a day? If you do, that's fine. Kudos. You're doing more than most Americans, which is getting out, enjoying nature, getting some sunlight, using your body the way it was designed to be used. But in today's video, I want to talk about 2 reasons why you should and could and can elevate your game with backcountry hiking. So have you ever been out on one of your day hikes and you're walking along, or you get to the end where it's time to turn back, and you see the folks with the big packs, and you know what they're there for? They're going out to do some overnight hiking, and you've wondered, well, why can't I do that? And maybe there's a variety of reasons why you think you can't or won't. But hopefully after today's video, where we talk about 2 reasons why you can backcountry hike, you can work to push past those barriers that certainly may be real to you, and get out and enjoy hiking at the next level. So the first reason is resilience. And resilience is a struggle for a lot of people these days with modern conveniences and technology. People struggle with mental health, and we could all improve resilience. And so as you look back over time, there are certain societies that did better than we do with resilience. And one such society was the ancient Greeks. And they had a specific life philosophy called Stoicism. And Stoicism taught that you should live in the moment. You should accept every moment as it is. And anything that impacts your ability to accept the moment as you perceive it and be happy in that moment is something to be avoided. And so Stoics believed that you shouldn't worry about the future because it hasn't happened yet, and you shouldn't dwell on the past because it's over and you can't change it. And one of the ways that Stoics would train themselves to prepare for adversity, which is something that all humans have to deal with eventually, is they would practice what they call deliberate deprivation. And this simply means that these often wealthy aristocrats who enjoyed all of the modern conveniences of their time would go out and live on the streets, or they'd go out and they'd live on the countryside. They would sleep on hard surfaces or the ground. They would eat bland food or fast, eat nothing at all. And this practice of intentional, deliberate deprivation prepared them for adverse situations. And so fast forward to how we could learn from the Greeks in this regard. One of the ways is by hiking. And for anybody who's ever done any backcountry hiking, you know that everything going out with you is on your back. So you're always striving to take less, or things that weigh less. And by doing that, you're intentionally going to minimalize what you can take with you. And even with all the advances in hiking gear, sleeping bags, and rain gear, you're still at the mercy of the elements out there. If it's cold, you won't have enough clothing, so you're just going to be cold. If it's raining, despite good weather rain gear that's available today, your feet are going to be wet. You're just going to be wet and cold. And the food is not great because it's dehydrated in order to be lightweight, and you just heat water and eat bland food. So hiking is living a lot like the Stoics did when they were intentionally depriving themselves. And what this does is it builds resiliency, because you're intentionally subjecting yourself to elements, things we don't routinely do, And when you come out of it on the back end, having persevered and challenged yourself, come through it, you're a stronger person for the experience. Now, the second reason is more of a pragmatic reason. The first one was psychological, it was philosophical. For the second one, it's just a function of taking full advantage of the area where you are. And so what I mean by that is, when you go out backcountry hiking, you're necessarily exploring more of the park or the trail or the area where you've decided to go hiking. Much more robust ways than you ever can day hiking, where you go to a specific feature with everybody else, and then when it's done, you go back. And I'll offer the example of my own experience at Zion National Park, where my wife and I went last spring. And if you've ever been to Zion, it's an incredibly busy park, arguably one of the most busy in the whole national park system. And to get out to the hiking areas, you have to take these shuttle buses. It's the only way to get in and out aside from riding a bicycle. And these buses are just packed with tourists. And when you get out to the trailheads, you walk sometimes 2 and 3 deep on these trails within arm's length of the person in front, behind you. And it's just not my idea of experiencing a national park. But luckily, I had a backcountry permit, and when I got to the end of the day hike area where everyone would turn around and come on back to the shuttle areas, I kept walking. And almost immediately, it was a completely different vibe. There were no people out there. I didn't see 2 or 3 people the rest of the day as I hiked up the West Rim to get to my camping area. And then once I was there, in peaceful solitude, all by myself, I sat and watched in real time the most stunning sunset I've seen in my life. And so this is just a real world example of getting away from the throngs, get away from the masses. And you can do this by backcountry hiking, and it's no more complicated than getting the gear, getting the permit, and getting out there on your own and seeing really the splendor of these parks. And it's not limited to the national parks, in whatever the hiking area that you're visiting. So I hope these 2 reasons resonate with you. And if you've been on the fence about trying some backcountry hiking, give it a go. I can talk in other videos about overcoming some of those other barriers, such as resources and time. But for now, just think through these 2 reasons why you should elevate your game and become a backcountry hiker. We'll see you next time.